You can hear music in the background still going on your
Oh, you
side.
can?
I could just a second. Yeah.
Something weird's going on. I better hold on. There's feedback already.
You can hear music in the background still going on your side.
Oh, I know what's happening. Hold on. All right, I fixed it. All right, sorry everyone. This is Zach and Aaron and Dougie's video review show, previously known as the Mediocre video review show, and you can see why we're not very good at the technical details, but now we're technically better than mediocre, and I think that was an adequate beginning of our show. We do it every Friday at 2:00. Aaron and I talk about videos or whatever people send us videos. We love that. And our old friend Dougie Fresh is here. Welcome to the show, Dougie. Oh, Dougie's drinking water when I introduce him.
Thank you. Thanks, Zach.
It's like Aaron's eating a sandwich when the show starts. And Dougie is a prolific Class 5 rafter, kayaker, wilderness guy, hippie, all the stuff. And he's here to basically break the ties between Aaron and I. So
yeah, Zach, you keep trying to bring in people who you think are going to be on your side.
Do you think Dougie will be on my side?
Did you just pay Dougie a bunch of money the last couple of weeks? Or have you paid him yet even? Or do you still owe him money?
You mean for working as a guide?
Yeah. Yes.
I have not paid him yet, no.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. You owe him money. So Dougie's definitely going to try to butter you up because he wants that cash.
All right, whatever.
No.
But yeah, let's get started. You guys ready? I want to start with something I learned this week. I'm going to add it to the – how do I add this to the thing? And it has to do with oarlocks. And Aaron, I mean, I'm not really I run spinnies a lot. But I run oarlocks a lot. I guess I call them spinnies. But do you have a favorite oarlock? Or do you even know the difference?
I know the Cobras versus like the traditional, but then the difference between all the traditional, some of them have more brass in them than others, I believe, and so I think some of them function a little bit better. But I mean, honestly, I'm never buying them. I'm just using whatever the outfitters provide. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like I'm not that particular about them, but it's a good thing. It's an interesting thing you bring up. So
I learned a lot this week, and the type of brass matters a lot. Mm-hmm. Because would you agree that it's good having an oarlock here that the oarlock can bend?
Can't see you. Make it bigger.
Okay. You can't see me, but yeah. Oops, wrong one. Oh man, I don't know how to do this. There we go. This is an oarlock, right? You can see this. Do you agree that it should be able to bend?
Well, I think you want to bend a little bit, and it needs to give a little bit so that like you pop the oar out instead of breaking the oar. That's not a problem. If it was like, that's why it's a lock and it's not a round cylinder that the whole, that it sits in, it's not tighter than it is, so that you do have that flexibility. And I mean, and it give a little bit too, so you can change the angle on it. So you want to have a little bit of opening, and so you want to give a little bit.
Yeah, that's an important characteristic that it gives, right? Dougie, do you agree? Dougie,
I agree.
This is 3 engineers. So here's a Cobra.
I saw on the NRS website, I believe they showed the Cobra, and one of the videos was to bend it, how you bend it to the right opening.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was it in the field or was it at a warehouse somewhere?
It was at a warehouse, but they did explain how to do it if you were in the field.
Oops, wrong one. I'll show. This is the Cobra. The Cobra is beefier. For those of you who don't know, you would think because it's the most expensive one and it has a cool name, it's the best. But what it allows to do is the oar to go more vertical, right? Because the A is flat. I don't know if you can see this. The A, most oarlocks are flat, so it can only get so vertical before it stops on these things. What they say is good about the Cobra is the oar can go really vertical both ways, which I think for rafting is bad. Like you don't want your oars very vertical. Once they hit a certain angle, you probably want them to pop.
I don't agree with that totally. I think you do at a certain point want them to pop, but having more angle before they catch is nice because then you can stand up and row. Like that's
you want some angle, but you don't want them to go vertical.
Yeah, I don't think the Cobras are designed to be that vertical though.
They're pretty crazy. I think here I have an oar thing right here. Like if you put this in here, well, it doesn't catch because it's too small, but it can go pretty vertical.
Yeah, that's
Where
not
the-
doesn't have rope. It's designed to have rope wrap around
Yeah, exactly. Where the A stops it. It won't stop this one. It stops it about like there before it pops.
it.
So I don't know. I'm a fan of the A, but what I learned because I have some friends that maybe broke some oars, some brand new oars, was that the NRS makes one called the Super Strong, which I'm going to show. This one right here, the Super NRS Super Strong. I have it right here. I have one of them. It doesn't really bend. Like I put it in a vise and trying to bend it, and I couldn't bend it. I mean, a tiny, tiny bit. And then the other one, they have the Atomic, which is in the upper right-hand corner. This one here, which is super light. Like it feels like plastic almost. Doesn't bend either. So if you use these and your oar gets kind of up at an angle, it's going to break before it gives. So these are kind of oar breakers right here.
That's a really smart marketing move or selling move on NRS's part because people are going to break more oars with those, and oars cost a lot more than locks, so they're going to make a lot more money. Yeah, that's smart.
So, but if you look at what they offer, what NRS offers, they have their Super Strong or open oar lock, which I'm thinking would break oars because it doesn't bend. The Sawyer Cobra, which is sort of seen as like the high end thing, which I'm not a big fan personally. Our guides didn't. I bought a bunch for our guides. They didn't like them. The NRS Atomic aluminum one, which breaks oars, and these ones, which are for like dinghies, I think. Right, so they don't even sell the A, which I think that like most boaters should have the A because it fits most oars. You can tune it in the field, and it gives when your oar comes up.
They don't sell the A.
They don't sell the A, which is very like I was surprised. There's no NRS A here. I think they're trying to get people to buy the Super Strong because they manufacture it. Right, the Sawyer A is like a direct competitor to the Super Strong. But the Super Strong, in my opinion, is pretty inferior because it doesn't give.
Yeah, when you say super strong,
it's not super strong.
A, Zach?
Sawyer, same who makes the Cobra. It's not super strong with a G. It's super Ston. Sorry, super Ston. Whatever that means. Let's see what that is.
What do they say about it when what's the write up say?
The toughest whitewater open oar lock available anywhere. Built to perform flawlessly in the most demanding and extreme conditions. And it's their proprietary manganese bronze super strong alloy. Amazing strength and an outstanding rebound memory. I mean, it doesn't bend, so...
It says rebound memory, Zach, so that sounds like it is supposed to bend.
Yeah, I've tried it. It doesn't bend. I mean, it bends a little bit, but I put it in...
Okay, let's rephrase it. Does it flex?
It doesn't... I mean, barely. I put it... Here's what I did. I put this guy, the A, in my vise, and I can pull it straight and push it back. It goes back in the slot. You put this in the vise, you can maybe get it bend a little bit, but it rebounds immediately. It does have amazing rebound memory. It goes exactly to this spot, but it won't open up either.
So you have to have oars that fit exactly there too. That's another.
You have to have oars that exactly fit this. Yeah, if your oars are a little bit bigger diameter or smaller diameter, you're not going to adjust it because it has that amazing rebound memory.
Zach, you think that contributed to the oars breaking that you heard about last week?
Yeah, possibly. That's how this came up because they broke 3 of their 6 brand new oars. And I was like, I think that's a warranty. That's a lot of oars to break 3 of the 6 brand new oars. And then somebody said, well, are they using NRS oar locks or Sawyer A's? And that's, if you're using, and I didn't know this was even a thing. I didn't know that these NRS ones didn't bend. And I went down a long rabbit hole that if you're using Sawyer A's, it could break oars. Where the Sawyer A has, so these Super Strong say it's a proprietary manganese bronze Super Strong alloy. I think what you want is what Sawyer's doing and one that actually bends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, isn't that the point of the brass, is that it does bend and give? That's what you wanted brass ones.
Yeah, that's why I think the point is bronze. Yeah, so Roddy's saying, they're hard to find. It's amazing to me that NRS doesn't sell them. And I guess the point is, like, these are, in my opinion, as somebody who I row spinning sometimes, I think the Sawyer A is the superior what do you call it? Orlock. So
That's and I've had sometimes where you have your spare and your spare is wider because it's an older ore.
yeah.
And then you have to stretch out the lock to make it fit.
Yep. And then this is a new one Sowader just made recently, the Canyon, which is the one cool thing about it. I learned a lot about Orlocks in the past couple of days because I went down some rabbit holes with these broken ores. It's the same one. It's the same material as the A. It's a little bit wider. It's a little bit more like the Cobra, but flat still, so the ores can't get too vertical. But it has those little knobs on the front top, which I think is if you could fall under Orlocks. If you fell under Orlock, it would hurt a lot if they're sharp. That's sort of to make it hurt less if you fall under Orlock, which is
That's
really
the purpose of those.
Yeah,
They're still pretty sharp.
they're still pretty sharp, but they're not as sharp as regular ones.
Yeah.
Like, why not have that there?
Yeah.
It costs more.
Yeah, they do cost. They're more than Cobras, actually. Good point. They're pretty
I
expensive.
just bought 3 Orlocks.
Uh-huh.
I think from NRS, or it might have been Downriver or NRS, but I got the Super Stons, and I haven't used them yet.
Send them back.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I mean, send them back, and then we'll get you some Sawyer ones. I mean, that's just my opinion. No, if you want to keep them, that's great. I think you can come by. We'll play with the vise. I mean, anybody who wants to do, like, put this in a vise and see if it bends. You really can't bend it. Put the A's in a vise. You can bend it back and forth, and it's probably gonna lose strength, right? If you keep doing that over and over and over like 100 cycles, you're gonna have fatigue. But you can easily get 20 cycles out of bending this back and forth and not lose strength. I mean, I think I have to look
probably a lot more than that. Yeah.
You probably get a lot of cycles of bending it back and forth. Okay, so that's the first thing, and then let's get on to some videos. You guys want to actually talk about some videos?
As a conclusion, so basically, it seems like don't want to buy locks through NRS at the moment. I mean, you're better off going straight to Sawyer and purchasing them.
Or it sounds like Dan River has them. I mean, Sawyer doesn't sell the best Orlock. They sell their thing, which I think is in a pretty inferior product.
You mean NRS?
Sorry, NRS. I say the wrong thing all the time. So, all right, we're gonna share this video now.
Zach, these other ones, these Canyon Orlocks, they look like they're a little wider and they're a little more rounded too. They're a little bit like a hybrid between the whatchamacallit?
The Cobra and the
A's.
the
A's, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to try them. They just kind of came out with them recently. I heard they were designed by some I think maybe pro in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, they are really wide. Well, they weren't designed. I think they're designed. Actually, I believe they're designed by Brad Dimmick, and Brad Dimmick built them for. They built them. I thought Brad. Maybe it's one or the other. It could be the other way around, but I thought Brad built them for. Nancy, and what's Nancy's husband's name who owns Pro? I can't think of his name right now. Bruce. I thought Brad built them for Bruce. He took some old ones and melted them down and built them for Bruce and Nancy, and they really liked them. But if you look at the photos farther over, it's definitely, they're really wide still. They're pretty wide, like the Cobras.
Yeah, but they're flat. So like I think one of the
problems. They're still rounded somewhat.
Somewhat, but like I think my issue with the Cobras now, after looking into this, is there's just too much. Like there's too much. I don't know if you can see this, but there's too much angle, and like it allows the ore, in my opinion, to get too vertical. Or I'd rather have it pop before it gets vertical, because what happens is the ore gets vertical, and then it gets hit on a rock, or it gets like under the current, and that's how ores snap. So there's a certain amount of vertical I think is good, but there's a certain amount you want it to like not do.
I think these other ones are designed to go pretty vertical too, because they say this new design allows the ore to feather throughout a greater range of motion and eases rowing while standing.
Yeah, I don't think it's this range of motion. I don't think if you look at this Cobra, look at how much that. I mean, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So I think I bet it's an in between, right? And I have to say we've been using the A's forever, right? Like I have to say the A's are solid. Right, you can stand up and row with them. It's just been the Orlock forever, so you can't go wrong with the A's. The Canyons could be a really cool option based on what you're doing. It's sort of designed for the Grand Canyon, I think, where getting a vertical ore isn't as big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I guess you could have it get under the boat and a current snap it, but you're not having a vertical ore and hitting a rock and having the boat run over the ore.
Yeah, it's probably for, like Aaron said before, standing up and rowing mostly.
Which is really nice when they don't catch them. You can stand up and row and they don't pinch.
So what do you guys use in the canyon? Do you know?
Oh, the cheap ones. And I have them. I own my own. You have to, working for Azure, you have to own your own. So I have my own towers. Your own towers, yeah, with locks, and you choose the size you want. So I've got 3 of them. And yeah, but it sucks is when you switch oars, they don't all fit the same. So you got to stretch them out and adjust, since I don't have my own pair of oars either. So I just have to.
So you have the A's then. You must have the A's.
Yeah, I have the A's.
Because you can adjust them.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being a Grand Canyon guide and showing up with Super Strongs, and you can't adjust them. Like, what do I do? You know, so
yeah. So
I don't know. I hope NRS can sell this product, because they don't offer this on their website, and yeah, who knows? All right, you ready to? Oh man, more wind footage. There's a request for wind footage, Aaron. Freshie and I are gonna have to go out.
What wind or weary it? Wow, whose phone is that?
Yeah,
that was mine. Sorry,
that's embarrassing. And Job, yeah, go. I mean, that's the thing is, like, Sawyer is a small Oregon company. Buying from them directly is great. What happens, I think, is a lot of people just go to NRS and just buy everything. Like, let me buy the frame and the oar locks and the thing, because it's easy, right? They just click all the buttons. They get their little flipped angles. They get all the stuff, put in a cart, and it gets shipped to you. But I think it's nice if you can buy directly from some of these companies and not just go to, like, you know, the big internet chain store and just like throw everything in a cart and be done. But NRS does give discounts to people, so maybe that's why. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Let's look at some footage.
Let's look at flipped angles.
No flipped angles. All right. Can you hear this?
I can hear it. Oh yeah, totally.
All right, it's playing. I love the audio. So this is high water Yampa.
You may want to turn down a little bit.
Camping a dinosaur on the Yampa. You don't have to go far with your gear. The kitchen's right here.
That's high water, right?
Yep.
It's floating the campground. And so the first thing I noticed.
Yeah, maybe turn it down a little bit again, Zach.
Okay. Hold on. Let me figure out how to do that.
Even though it's amazing music.
I love the music. Well, we'll probably get kicked off YouTube for a copyright.
Oh, that's a big feature. Wow.
Wait, how do I make this full size? The first thing I'm noticing is they have different colored oars.
Yeah.
And he goes, I broke my paddle.
Oh, broke his. Oh, wow.
So I just want to go back. How did that even happen? Is it just big
So
water?
what?
You know what it is? It's pins and clips, Zach.
You think so?
Well, actually, I'm surprised you broke it with pins and clips.
Yeah, me too. It went. Oh, there went under the boat.
And they got the snap. Yep, that's where pins and clips are worse, right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he has one blue, one yellow. I noticed the pins and clips. And the other thing it's interesting is, I mean, they're Carlisle, so they're not the strongest oars.
No, I know people used to just snap them like holding them in the locks.
Yeah, so
we had this guy who used to snap them. It's like
yeah. So more big water. The one thing
you really like this music, huh?
I like the music. I like that they have pins and clips, and I feel like their oar length is correct. I mean, if you had short oars in big water, you'd be in real trouble. This guy, at least, this guy's got, you know, his oars on the inside look really good. His oar length looks correct.
Whoa! Luckily, that boat's nice and heavy. Hey, Dougie, that looks like your helmet.
Yeah. ProTech.
He still has it.
Dude,
still
You know, I
paddles
saw
with
they started selling them again. I saw them online the other day, the classic ProTechs, or maybe they never stopped, but they look pretty nice.
So
Ear
this
protection.
guy's
Dude,
oars
these guys are getting after it.
his oars look a little short to me.
A little wide too,
A
yeah.
little wide on the pole, and it's a little vertical when he's pulling. got spin. He's got oar rights.
Which that's yeah. Yeah, nice line. What's the thing sticking off the back? Is that his flag?
Bear paddle, I think.
I don't know.
These guys are doing a lot of pulling backwards upstream in big water. I'm not used to seeing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Ooh, that worked.
That's a nice surf over there, though.
Yeah, that was a nice like back. I mean, that is a good move actually to pull backwards and hit.
And surf over. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I pull back in big water a bit, but very aggressively. Like rarely at 45 degrees the current. Usually it's like a downstream ferry, you're like 90 to the current.
Sometimes I'll do what he did there is where you hit a big lateral and you pull backwards as you ride up on it and you can surf across that lateral to get to the other side of the river. That's a nice move. That's like that's actually the I'm gonna say that's the most fun move to do at high water. I look those anywhere you can where you can
Let's go back because it's pretty cool. I think the one thing I like about this guy, he to me he's using the river really well. Like he's not rowing a lot, but he's like that was cool. These little surfs.
And he's got he was by far the most conservative line. He's like, whatever, man, I'm close to shore and spinning down. I don't have to worry about flipping.
Back here, he got. Let's see. He looks pretty calm. You know, some people are just stressed rowing a lot. Got solid strokes, and he does this big. He gets surfed to the middle, and then he somehow. Yeah. Sorry.
Downstream angle to the right.
And he's set up to pull away from the big feature in the middle. I mean, he was spinning around, and maybe it was accidental, but it worked out really well for him. I don't think it was. It looked like it was pretty controlled to set up to be able to spin, to pull backwards off of that.
All right, we got this guy who's talking to the GoPro. Pins and clips. I think his oar length is pretty good. Right? That looks maybe
if they're listening to this music while we're in the rapids, I mean, that would be epic.
Be amazing.
Ooh, could use a little more. Yeah, he didn't hit that straight, huh? I mean, that's good footage of why you need to hit those laterals.
Let's look at it again. Yeah,
point is a little farther left.
Turn the boat right there.
Yeah, a little farther left.
Hits at an angle, almost flips him.
Whoa. This is some great footage.
It's really big.
Yeah, it is. Whoa.
Ooh, that was it right there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, he's got a pirate flag. And he's going down the middle of it. The last guy did what I would do is get far right.
Is there still Warm Springs then?
I'm not sure. I've never done the Yampa, so I have no idea.
I did. Yeah, I did like 25 years ago. I don't really. And it was low water.
Yeah, that one he could hit straight again.
Whoa!
But he's got that air. I mean, that airboat, like we talked about last episode, it has the water. It has the water in the floor. It's hard to flip. If he was in a urethane boat like a Sotara Wing, I bet he would have flipped in there somewhere.
He's really back heavy too. He's got a lot of weight in that back compartment. I wouldn't want that much weight in the back. I know that's a cool way to run your boat, but I'd want a little more weight up front.
You want it even, right?
Even a little front weighted there, just so it keeps pulling that nose downstream a little bit, so it's not wanting to spin it around. If your front end is lighter, then your back end's gonna, when you hit those waves, it's gonna want to pull your back end around. Whoa!
That's what we've been waiting for. So hey, let's go back a second. I just was thinking about something. These guys are running pins and clips. Do you think is that what you would want to run at this flow?
No.
You'd want locks.
Yeah.
I would want the oars I can pull the hardest on. Like you're not feathering here. You're just
totally
like,
feathering. You're feathering right in this stuff, and then you can, because otherwise you can't, like a lot of ways you're not gonna be able to bring your oar back for another stroke because it's like stuck down in the water in between waves. Particularly when you've got like those weird lateral waves, like the granite type of waves in Grand Canyon. Well, he held his sunglasses. Look at
that's
that.
Awesome.
That is sick. And then he's like, check the GoPro.
His danger rope's a little loose, so it's
danger rope's loose. And then this is an air, so it's really hard to climb on top of. You got to have stuff set up on it.
I don't think this
looks like it. It looks like it, doesn't it?
I think this is an air, yeah.
It looks like it.
Let's watch it again. Oh yeah, I think you're right. Damn it. Let's watch it. Go, Mike. He hits that straight. Hits that kind of straight. hits it. You need to be a little bit more to the right.
Yep, you saw it's building. You got it. Yeah, I mean that's a problem with Sergi stuff like this. It's really hard to keep straight, and he's got a little boat. But
He's dealing with his sunglasses. Can't lose my sunglasses.
check the GoPro. Super psyched on that. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, you know, clearly he's calm, that's probably one of the most important things. Like, all right, I got my sunglasses. Make sure the GoPro's okay. Yeah, my danger rope is way too loose. That's problematic. But what I'm seeing as the problem right now is I don't think he's got a good way to climb on top of that upside down boat. We know we've discussed this before. Those boats are hard to climb up to when they're upside down. Oh boy, this could be yeah, probably because he knows there's no way to climb up on top of it easily.
I mean, he can stand on that danger rope.
Yeah, but there's just no place to put his fingers easily. Like
Yeah.
that you know, how are you gonna
Go to the ends. I mean, you go to the end.
Yeah, but you still can't put your finger. You got to get up there. Is that a noodle? What is that?
That's what he used for his GoPro on the way in. I think that's his it was his vertical GoPro thing.
You got the kayak bros there.
But there is, I mean, I think there's a long run out here too. So
That's a Pirouette S in 2011. Wow.
Yeah.
You see that Pirouette S rescue? That's really what you want to see is a Pirouette S battling FG to rescue you.
All right. We got some questions. A Flycraft. Do you know what a Flycraft is?
It's a locked type of lock, I believe, right?
I think it's a raft, right? Flycraft. I think let me see if I can find it and put it up here. It's the most versatile inflatable fishing boat. Now, here's the thing, everyone, is that we don't fish. So we get questions sometimes about, I don't know, like anchors and stuff like that. Do you guys see it? They figure out to get it up. It's this boat. Oh, no thanks. I don't want this little tiny boat. They're small. They're
that
light.
looks sick. How much does it weigh?
It says Flycraft, so I don't think they weigh very much.
They're expensive though. It's not cheap enough to make it worthwhile. With the SUP one,
that's a frame and a bow for $32.95.
Yeah, but that frame is like not much. I thought there's a SUP. Did you see the SUP one?
I didn't.
That was pretty cool. But anyways, we're digressing.
Here we go. Hold on. This is the best part. Hold on. Bonus one: upgraded NRS mini atomic aluminum oarlocks, $80 value. That is not an upgrade. I'm sorry. That that's frustrating. There's like an option to get an anchor. So we don't know much about these things. I think if you like to fish class 2, this looks pretty sweet. But I mean, we're more, I don't know, whitewater people, so we don't know much about these things. But I've heard people that have them. They sound pretty cool. People like them.
Yep.
Dougie, any thoughts?
It looks great. It looks like very narrow, but it looks good.
Job gets a discount and goes to Sawyer. Yeah, thanks for supporting these companies directly. I wonder how everybody gets a discount NRS. And we probably shouldn't get into that.
Yeah, let's not talk about discuss it.
He also
So Aaron,
pushed with his right oar. I feel like they contributed to the flip. Huh.
Let's look at it again.
I got rid of it.
Okay.
So Aaron, I haven't talked to you about rowing in a long time. You like to have no oarlocks at this point.
On big water, I like open.
I'm sorry,
locks.
no oar rights.
Yeah, no. For me, yeah, no. I run locks for a long time. Yeah, big water, yes. Technical big water, no. Like if I were on food, no, I wouldn't. But
what would you like there? Pins
rights or pins and clips. I probably go with the rights just because I can pull them and put them upside down when I want to, and I can.
Wait, Aaron, it's the same thing as we just saw. That big water. That's what my point.
No, it's not. That's not technical big water. Technical.
Are you saying now is the
technical big water is like Cherry Creek moves at 15,000 CFS.
And that's because you want to know where that oar is.
Yeah, and you're like, it's much more technical what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
And when I'm running big water like that, I just want to get on the oars and yard. I don't want to think about all this.
I know, Zach, because you're not a finesse guy. Some of us aren't as big and strong as you. We've been through this before.
This up. No, that's the point. Is I want the power. Like I get less power with the spinny. So when it spins, I'm just like I whiffs. And I watch guys do this all the time. The reason is on the middle fork of the Salmon, when it's like 6 feet. Guides run their spinnies, and I'm watching them miss eddies and miss moves because they whiff strokes. They can't just yard on the oar to catch an eddy.
Well, I think there's a couple problems there. I mean, yeah, I don't think they're very experienced with them then. Because like you don't miss strokes that often. Like every once in a while, but it's really, really, really rare. I feel like once you're good with them.
Yeah, I would say that they're. I mean, a really good boat person can handle it, but if all you've ever done is the middle fork at like 2 feet and the rogue and easy stuff, if all of a sudden it's 6 feet, you don't realize you just have to yard on the oars constantly. And so, yeah, no, I mean, definitely like they don't have a lot of experience with big water.
I don't really feel like you have to yard on the oars all the time at 6 feet on the middle fork, though, Zach. I don't understand that.
There's a lot of moves like catching the eddy below teepee hole, the very first eddy. I've watched guys miss that eddy. They're just like they're not.
Well, I don't think that's the oars. I think if you had them in pins and clips, they'd still miss it.
No, I'd say I disagree. I mean, I remember that. I remember this example. I'm like, they're just because they're the oar's spinning all the time. They can't just. They can't just take the oar and
sounds like they don't know how to row, which is a whole nother issue.
Right.
I mean, there's knowing how to row, and then there's just levels of experience. It's easier to pull on them if you know the blades are there, and you don't have to. If your wrist is a little off, you don't have to readjust to get that blade in the right place.
Totally.
I'm just this last week was the first time I tried without oar right, and it was harder. Like I used my wrist so much more. I can still doing it, but
like you talk to certain guides too, and they have forearm and wrist problems where they wake up in their arms and wrists and carpal tunnel type of issues. And so I will say that is my one pause with those is I think that can be a problem. But like I said, when you're in those waves and it's all weird and it's surging around you and you're trying to recover your blade for another stroke, like it's nice to be able to ship it. I mean, to be able to twist it, feather it, and slide it through the water to get it forward to make another stroke.
But if you have oar rights, it should just pop up if you push down on the oar. Like it's
no, but sometimes
angled,
sometimes the waves are too big on the sides of you, and you can't get the blade low enough so you can't get the handle low enough to get the blade out of the water.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the advantage in big water when it's surging around you is you can always just like feather it and move it forward, and you can keep your balance. You don't have to push it down low. You can keep it up here and feather it, and so it gives you a little more stability in some ways.
So you're saying in that video we just watched, you would want open oar locks.
Yeah,
but in the Food LeFou you wouldn't.
Yeah, that wasn't technical.
The Food LeFou is not technical.
No.
Rapid was technical.
That stuff wasn't technical. That's mostly hey diddle diddle. I mean, they're just going right down the middle.
So why does it even matter?
Well, you got to point your nose where you need it to go.
So you want to have in the Food LeFou you have to point your nose where you want to go.
Yeah, but it's not the point your nose. It's the it's just so much harder, and you're not. It's just a different feel.
If you have oars, you can just yard on. You can make those moves. Like that guy could have been like all the way on one side. Like
I think it's when you're doing a lot of shipping, Zach. I think you're doing a lot more shipping on the Food LeFou, and I think that's a big part of it is all the shipping you're doing.
And that's why you would want oar rights.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
And down there, we didn't have as beefy of oars as we have here. Like people with the locks, actually, without the right in them, they get spun sideways and they go underneath the boat. And kind of like that one broke, they would break that way. That's and with rights, we don't usually have that problem. It's interesting how he had that problem. I was surprised he had that problem with the pins and clips, but I guess the clip allows it to go farther vertical than you can in a lock.
I think I have to look at it again carefully. I think his tower did something. His towers are really far out on that boat. But anyway, that's why the reason I don't like the Cobras right now, because they allow that oar to get really vertical to do exactly what you're talking about.
But it should pull. It was weird. It should pull up. Maybe just the angle when it got caught. And like, I think when people break them, when I see people break them when they get spun sideways, they keep holding onto them and then they snap them because they don't let go of the oar and let it go out. I think that's more of the problem, and it's getting broke. Yeah. It's getting snapped. Also,
you guys had Carlisle oars out there. They're not known for their strength.
We had the cataracts as well, and those would snap. Yeah. Greggy Smith used to always snap those, but he would just snap them holding onto them. I mean, he's like you though; he's super strong.
So we had a few questions about this. Your method for rigging to get on top of Unsafe and Raft.
That's great. I think there's a lot of good methods. I think the bow to stern line underneath it, just one from the bow to the stern at high water, works fantastic. I've also done one in the back, going around the back of the boat side to side. Like when we were working in Chile, we would go basically we had a stern mount frame and we'd tie a tie a piece of webbing to one side of the frame and go underneath the boat and come to the other side in the back area. And so it didn't go front to back. It just went right there. And that worked really well. Grand Canyon usually go bow to stern. And I love the bow to stern in high water because then guests can climb up on it. Either end, you can climb up on top of it. And then, Zach, I like what we used to do at UC Davis and Dougie, where we had those little pieces of webbing between the holes.
I just did that on my airboat.
Yeah. And then you have it in the four corners before the boat starts to rock her up. So right on top, I can just reach up, grab that, pull myself up and in.
Yeah.
And I like that. And then you can do the V too in the back where you I don't know if you guys have ever done that, where you go to the back D-ring and then go up the left side and go through a hole and out another hole and then go across and then through another hole. So you make a V in the back. So that gives you a place to hang on the back and then you can reach up and grab that webbing, or you can go up over the side. So the power V or whatever you want to call it. That's
the key is to have something to grab on with your hands.
Yeah, have a method. Yeah, and something that's not going to catch too much.
Right.
I did that on we're starting on our wing boats to put those little loops in the ends to pull ourselves up. But Aaron, Ned, the bow to stern line I think is pretty cool. Part because once you get up there, you have something to hold on to. So if you pull everybody up, you have something to grab instead of just everybody on the upside down boat. Because if you go through a rapid upside down, everybody's gonna fall off again. Where if you're holding on to something, you have a fighting chance to stay on the boat.
And you can rig that one after you've got your boat in the water. You can tie. What I usually do is have a long piece of webbing, and I'll tie a bull in on one end to the D-ring on one end, and it's kind of bringing around the side of the boat underneath it, and then come to the other end, and then I'll have a cam strap and maybe a locking carabiner or something, and have a cam strap go from the other D-ring through a locking carabiner that's tied to the other end. Some people just go rope to rope, but I'm not a big fan of that. And you just tighten that piece of webbing with the cam strap. So you can adjust a little bit as it loosens and keep it snug along the bottom. That being said, you do see a lot of them get loose.
Down the road for a live show, I'll try to have an inflated raft and we can do some of these things so people can visualize it. It'd be kind of fun. Job just wrote a really nice note. Yep. Nice to meet you too, Job. And and I have some more videos for reading water. Send me a note on if you go to our online rowing course, I have some free, it's like a paid online rowing class that we have at whitewatereducation.com, but I have some free videos that are even better than the ones on Gear Garage that we spent a lot of time on. So, all right, want to watch this video?
Yeah, let's do it.
This one just came out. Somebody posted it recently. And I'm going to pause it for a second, give it some context. It just somebody put online recently. It's been going all over the internet, and we've had a few people email it to us saying, "What do you think?" And so we're going to try to just kind of give some of our thoughts. And I'm going to tell you right away on this guy's rowing. He has a common problem with. I'm going to make it big. He's sitting on top of a seat on top of a box, so he's sitting pretty high, and because of that, he has. It looks like those 10-inch oar towers. So his oar towers are really wide. So his oars are kind of short, right? So his rowing is not. It's the oar problem. If he was sitting right on the box instead of the seat, he could have oar towers closer, and his oars are probably the right size then.
Well, and then the other thing too is he's got those weights on the end. He needs to have those weights on the end because so much of the oar is on the outside of the lock, right?
Exactly it. Because they put counterbalances. Now, I mean, I picked up some counterbalanced oars the other day. We have some people that did one of our trips. Dougie was on. They're rowing their own boats and they want counterbalanced oars because they're not as strong, which is fine, but they're heavy. Aaron, you've said before you don't like counterbalanced oars because they're heavy. I had to pick these things up and carry them.
Yeah.
I'm a fairly strong person. It was hard.
Well, they're also awkward too because their balance is really odd for carrying. You know what I mean? You got to pick them up you can't pick them up in the middle of the oar. You got to pick them up towards the handle end, and yeah.
But this looks like, somebody somewhere said you have to have counterbalanced oars, and he has all the stuff, right? And I'm just looking at this. He has the fancy oar leashes because you can just use rope for oar leashes. It's almost like you went to NRS and clicked all the buttons and got all the stuff. It looks like a beer there. Do you see that open beer?
Yeah, I think I like the drink. Yeah, that's nice. That's key part. I'm gonna say the rig looks good though. I'm gonna say overall, I was impressed. His rig looks really solid. I'm nervous about the ammo can to the left of him, about getting thrown on that thing. I don't like those. I'd like to have that padded. If it's up there, I know that's a cool place to run them. but I want to be lower, more kind of in line with the cooler maybe, or padded. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
see
he just has to me a
those.
lot of boxes, 2 Pelican boxes, the ammo can, like, and there's that little rig bag to the right.
Zach, are you saying that on multi-trips maybe we don't need to bring so much gear?
It's just a lot of stuff. I mean,
Whoa. Wait a minute. Weren't you on the other side of this conversation a while back when I was saying bring less stuff?
I was, but I mean, there's a line, right? If this is just 2 people's boat and they have all this stuff, they have too much stuff, right? So maybe he's carrying other people's stuff, but it's just a lot of boxes, a lot of things. But anyway, we're getting petty. But the beer to me is bad because.
But you don't know it's beer. It could
You're
be
assuming it could be a seltzer water, Zach. Come on.
It could be a seltzer water, but yeah, you're wrong. But there's a drink. Yeah, you're right. It could be a seltzer water.
If it's beer, though, you're right. That's not.
But
good.
I know how these trips go. I know the thing. And the other thing is this is the Astro White TV life jacket. It's pretty minimal flotation.
Well, I mean, they are on the Lador. I mean, this is like the only rapid on the river, right?
Okay. Yeah, there's a vertical coming out of the lock.
Yep.
That's not that. You try to push it down. These are Sawyer. Look how high that's one more thing. I just noticed this. Look how he has the oar locks elevated with some black piece of tubing, so they're even higher. So it looks like he has a 10-inch oar towers plus some tubing that forces them up. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Let me go back. How does he pop that oar, by the way? I'm just super curious. Doesn't hit a rock. Oh, he hits a rock right there. And that's
or it's just the water. No, I think it was just the water pushing it.
There's something.
So you ever get it where they get stuck there and you can't just pull them out like that?
I was worried about that actually, where he got it stuck.
Yeah, I've had them stuck on there. Doug, have you had that in the rope wrap where they get stuck on that?
I didn't hear.
And they get like a little bent too, so you can't use it, and it's stuck there in the middle.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that the oar it comes up, it gets stuck in here.
Yeah.
And then you're like you can't move it because it's perfectly stuck in there.
Yeah. What do you guys do?
Shake it back and forth to try to get it to drop down.
I jump in swim to shore.
But I wonder why
what do you guys do? What do you guys do when they get stuck like that?
Yeah, I try to pull it towards me.
I stand up and I step on it, and I like step down on it with my foot, just like smack it down until it pops back in. I mean, I'll try to shake it a little like Dougie says, but a lot of times that won't work, and I'll have to get up on top and just like hold my. Luckily, I've got locks and not pins and clips. I can hold my other oar, kind of stand up, and still holding the other one, just like step down on it super hard.
That was an insane comment you just made. This is a problem of locks. If you had pins and clips, this wouldn't have happened to begin with.
When he pulled that blade out of the water after it popped, it was perpendicular to the boat, that was strange.
I feel like that happens a lot, Dougie, because it gets caught and it gets caught weird, and it kind of gets yanked underneath the boat, and then it gets
It spun out after it came out of the. Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, it is an oar management thing, right? Because he's using his downstream more like deeper than he should. There's something down there. There's a rock or something down there to hit.
Yeah.
My favorite part, if you listen to the audio, is the woman in the front is telling him what to do, and he yells, "Hold on!" Like he's definitely in a bad mood. Or he's tired of.
Well, I think we can agree he could have his oar set up a little different to make it a lot easier for him. The other thing I noticed when he was pushing with the oars. See when he pushes, see how far out in front his oar blade is, and it like stops right at perpendicular to the boat.
The blades, the towers are too far forward, basically.
Yeah, I think the tower's a little far forward, or he needs to sit farther forward.
No, they're just like the whole setup is awkward.
Yeah.
The whole set. I mean, it starts with that seat on top of the box. Just sit on the box. And right now he should not be pushing. Like he's pushing a move, he should be pulling. He makes it though. Again, not pushing. That's it. Like I would be pulling away from that rock.
And I'd say the other thing too, when you're leaning that far back to push forward, see it when his shoulders are behind his hips, he doesn't have good leverage. You want to keep keeping your shoulders better makes it easier. So
the oar, whatever.
Yeah, like
the oar setup's bad, but these are all pulls. Like I don't know why he's pushing.
Whatever time it is right now on the video, we want to go back to the top of this little stretch, maybe watch this a little bit again. Okay, he made it. Nice job.
He made it, but I mean, this is.
Can we go back up to the top of that again, though? Like, are we at the top of it again? So when he's coming down here, and there's a point where he starts to lose his angle, and this is something that I feel like talk a lot with guide school students about, and you're getting close to the wall, particularly if he's even close to the wall, is to turn and pull. You know what I mean?
Point towards the wall and pull away.
Yeah, just like if you just pull backwards with his right oar, he would spin off, and it would be so easy. Like right now, he's trying to get more angle. He's pushing hard with that right oar, trying to turn it. There he is. He's pushing hard with the right, really pushing with the right. Instead, just one pull backwards with the right, and then he could be ferrying across, no problem. He's still right here, same thing. He's still pushing hard with that right, trying to get it around. And if he'd gone the other way, it'd be way easier.
I mean, so again, what you're saying is point the boat at the danger and pull away.
Well, the line to danger, I would say, Zach.
Yeah.
If he pointed his boat at the danger here, he'd be in trouble because, you know what I mean? Like he needs to actually point his nose towards the right shore and pull across.
Yes. So, I mean, we talked about this a little bit, and for those of you who haven't to talk about it, historically we said pull away from dangers, right? Like point your boat at the rock and pull away from it. And that way, if you hit it with your bow and you bounce off. But our new teaching is imagine a line going to the rock or a line going to the danger, point away from that line and pull away from that line. And run it backwards if you have to. Yeah. I wouldn't turn downstream here necessarily. But
I'd get pretty perpendicular to the current, though. I'd be comfortable with that.
I'd get perpendicular to the current, but I wouldn't do it down. I wouldn't go backwards. I mean, if it was me, I would probably be perpendicular to the current, just pull away a little bit, go down, pull away a little bit. Yeah. But these are pulling moves, I think. They can be pushed, but your pushing technique has to be perfect.
He did it. But I think we all agree he could have done it with like a quarter of the strokes.
I would not call this doing it.
Well, I would when you look at the other people, what they had happen to them. So I think this is very successful. Look at the other raft.
Compared to his friends, but this isn't success. I don't want anybody to see this as a good example of what you should be doing. This is not success. He's like pushing. He's like putting too much effort into his strokes. He's wildly pushing. And so the issue with pushing here that we talk a lot about in our classes is that if you push, your boat's exposed to the rock, you're going to hit it sideways. And so that's exactly what happens. He's trying to push to the left of it. If he doesn't make it, he's going to hit the rock sideways. Where if he pulled away from the line to it, he'd hit it with his bow. And that's what we're going to see here is because he's pushing, he's exposed to this rock. And when he doesn't make it, I mean, it could have been way worse, but
And he made a nice job. He did a nice job of shipping his oar. That's one thing I'll say. He did a really nice job of getting that last stroke. The shipping was really nice. Good job. Well, quite nice and controlled. He made it. He's worn out now, though. Yeah, he's tired. Yeah, it was a lot of work.
Heeled swimmer, and now they're going for a throwback on the raft.
And blowing whistles, my favorite combo.
Like
swimmer right there, get your throw rope out.
You hear that?
Get that
he just yelled, "Swimmer right there, get your throw rope out." And so, this is where I want to make a point. Like swimmer does not equal throw rope, right? He's in a boat. Like he should go get the swimmer, right? He shouldn't be yelling at people what to do, and they shouldn't pull a throwback out on the boat. They should, as the person in the boat, set themselves up to get the swimmer.
What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, totally. Fewer ropes in the water, and you're maneuverable in the raft. Get to that swimmer.
Oh, wait, Aaron, are you pretending like this isn't the right answer?
Just listening. Just listen and see what you guys have to say.
You're trying to not be confrontational.
No, I mean, yeah. No, I probably wouldn't use a throwback here.
There's sometimes if obstacles in the river might dictate that you don't go near the swimmer, but pull them towards you instead. I could see that happening, but most of the time, the easiest way to get them to safety is to get your boat to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, look at there's a run out. This is a pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like look downstream.
There's a
This
nice
swim is
pool
not
at the
bad.
bottom, exactly.
He's not swimming into a sieve. There's not a tree. Like hopefully they're wearing a life jacket that's not a 15-pound life jacket, so their head's above water. But like it's like look at the run out. There's no reason to get stressed until people pull out throw bags. A throw bag here can a lot of times make it worse. Look at the comments. Time downstream or planes on top of a wave when shallow to avoid
Wow.
filters. Yeah, that's smart.
I don't know if I have the skill to do that.
You do.
But you probably, if it's shallow, you're not going to let your oar go down too deep.
I think they'll go deep, but yeah, I think just try to keep it. Well, I really try to use my upstream oar as much as possible. in
Don't
those
use
cases.
it downstream more, but if you have to skim the top of the water.
Yeah.
And
That's when
minimally.
that's when it's nice to have locks because then you can
can do
turn it
pins
so you
and
can
clips
skim
too.
on
I
the.
don't,
You can
Aaron,
skim
you're
it on
just trying to create an
top.
argument.
No, I'm serious. You can skim along the surface much better.
Why? I don't know about that. You can
Yeah,
skim
you
with,
just on the surface. You just turn like this and it stays on the surface because then it, like
Oh.
if you're like, let's say I'm trying to like turn. Let's say I'm trying to pull backwards with my right oar, right? If I turn it this way so it sits like up a little bit and I pull backwards, it'll sit on the surface and it'll ride along the surface.
Right. It
It'll
won't-
still
looks
get
like
some tension.
Like an airplane wing, sort of.
Yes,
it won't dive
exactly.
down.
Exactly. It stays on top.
Yeah.
It's like all the people that do spinnies or they have all these techniques and tricks they swear by.
Okay.
We have all it's called skills. So
Aaron, first of all, you can't make this show about you and Orlocks and mini pins and clips because we both use both. You're trying to pigeonhole me as a pins and clips guy here.
I'm not.
you as the
I'm
ultimate
just
Orlock
saying
skills
there's
guy.
advantages of the locks. I'm just speaking.
There are
to
advantages.
locks.
There are advantages. I agree.
I
think
look
in
at
that
this
big
river.
water-
I look at this river, the rivers we've looked at today, and I'd be like, I want locks on these trips.
On the big water trip, the Yampa, I'd want pins and clips hands down. Like most of those people had. On this trip, this is like pretty straightforward. I'd probably want Orlocks. Okay. If you set your hands on the handles and look at your knuckles, you can keep your angle without looking at the blades. If you set your hands on the handles and look at your knuckles.
Well, I think what Roddy's talking about is general truth. When you're holding on to them, you don't need to work. You don't need to look at your blades to see where they are in terms of the angle of the blade. But yeah, that's definitely true. The problem is when they slip in your hands. That's where it gets to be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah, we agree with you 100%.
Yeah, totally, Rick. Well said.
Much easier.
Yeah, yeah.
This is not hard.
Yeah.
This is. I think the reason people push so much, there's people think that pushing means you're better. Like if you push rapids, you're higher skilled. Like there's this.
Well,
I
that's
don't know,
true,
there's-
Zach. You're way more badass if you push a rapid. It's like
Yeah,
riding
I mean-
riding your bike with no hands.
Or like single speed riding or telemark skiing or using open Orlocks, right? Like you're by making it harder and doing it, it's impressive. So you're
Yeah.
right. But what happens is people learning mimic that, or they try to they think if I push the rapid, I'm better. And it's like you're purposely making the rapid harder to get style points by pushing it. But the responsible thing to do when you're learning is be pulling out these things. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
Yeah.
The swimmer could easily swim to the boat. It's not like there's some. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Justin. Why would you run a rapid backwards? Yeah, Andrew, that's a downstream ferry angle, and the reason times I would do it would be to break a big lateral. Like
Yeah, he's not talking
break
straight
anyway.
downstream backwards. He's talking like a downstream ferry.
Yeah.
But one thing when that comment popped up before made me think I did used to jump seat, we called it, where you're
Oh
pushing
God, Doug, you weren't one of those.
and I would be like, I definitely want to be pulling right now, and I would just flip to the other side and pull.
That's embarrassing.
I remember a new guide on Tuolumne trying to do that in rock garden and getting beat up because when they're trying to switch, all of a sudden the oars start flying and you're just like, no. Yeah. I mean, I actually, having said that, I have also done what you're saying.
Right.
I've done that too.
I remember doing that on the Grand Canyon my first few times.
Yeah, like you're stuck like on an eddy fence or something like that. I just want to get in. I don't want to spin all the way back around. If I turn, I can pull. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, that's a good point. The low water, keeping the oars shallow, like tops of waves. I think the other thing too, I don't know if you guys know this, usually there's deeper water behind rocks and eddies. So it's a good place to drop an oar in shallow water.
Looks like a pretty unproblematic swim. Third back here seems like, yeah, exactly. And just to give some context on this video, I read some of the comments because people gave this group a hard time, and I actually, after reading the comments, really like this group because none of them are like super experienced, but a few of them took saltwater rescue classes, and like they put a lot of effort and planning into the trip, and they did as much training as they could, and they're on an adventure, right? Like if we went and did it, it would be like another green trip. Okay, let's hang out in camp and tell the same stories about how awesome we are, and sign autographs along the way. But like these people, they've gotten together as a group and they're on an adventure. And I have so much respect for that. Like not enough people go on adventures anymore. And they're pretty well prepped. I mean, I'm not super stoked on his PFD, but whatever. He's wearing a helmet on class 3. Like I respect that, and they seem to kind of know what they're doing. And so I like that, but they don't have enough experience to know that it's an unproblematic swim. And I think some of them took a rescue class where the rescue instructor maybe wasn't, who knows, but sometimes, rescue instructors are like, oh, swimmer throw bag. And they learn that you have to use throw bags all the time.
Well, if there's firefighters in your rescue class, the firefighters need to learn to use throw bags because you don't want firefighters going in the water. Yeah. So it's that's the problem with those swiftwater courses, depending on the one you take.
But if they'd taken a really good one with whitewater boaters, they would have swum stuff like this and realized like it's no big deal. Like you can swim stuff like this. Like this rapid, Aaron, you could swim this top to bottom as like, a fun thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. So like
I don't know if I'd start at the top. That'd be a little sketchy above that.
There's rocky shallow spot. Yeah. But like I think a good swiftwater rescue class teaches more like how to use a throw bag, but being afraid of it and making sure you throw from shore. And then, understanding like practice swimming rapids, so you understand what is a gnarly swim and what isn't. I think it comes from what comes from paddle guy. Oh, the pushing to mentality.
Probably, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely driving the boat downstream. Yeah,
it does. I back paddle boating a lot too. I do a lot of backs depending on the river. We teach a lot of private boater classes, and I teach people, and they come back the following year and they're pushing everything. I'm like, I just taught you to pull last year. Why are you pushing everything? Like, oh, I thought the pushing was better or made you more skilled. And so I have to be like, I hear a lot that people think that pushing is more skilled or means you're more advanced. And when we teach in our class 3 skill set, we teach pushing. Pulling. In our class 4 skill set, we teach push. We add pushing. Like, oh, you can push too. So they think that like class 3 is pulling, class 4 is pushing. And well,
let's be honest. If you push right, it's way easier because you use the tracking of the raft, and it takes way less effort.
It takes less effort
in the right spot. Pushing is way easier and gets you moving downstream more quickly.
Yeah. I do it a lot, but your timing has to be perfect, right? And then as you then advance more into more difficult rapids, you can't push everything. You've got to pull. You need both skill sets. So if you're pushing, and then you have to go run the middle fork at 6 feet, you can't push everything, right? Or you go run Cherry Creek, you can't push everything, or whatever. Like if you want to become a better boater, you have to have both skills. Yeah, you definitely have to set up early. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Less work. Spinnies are great with Gilman and grips. I like what Aaron's saying. Yeah, I mean, Nate. After watching
Nate.
After watching you seal launch at what's that river? The Golden Gate with Spinnies and Gilman grips, I cannot disagree. I mean, you have mad props for that seal launch in Golden Gate. Like, I would have thought I want pins and clips 100% of the time, but you, man, I can't say anything wrong about that.
And I'll say I would have wanted pins and clips there too. Yeah. If I'm really scared, I'd want pins and clips.
Yeah. So now there's some sort of rescue. So now we're gonna see he got to shore. They didn't throw a throwback from a raft, and they're gonna go up and there's some sort of rescue going on.
I got the Z-Drag kit right here. Do we need it?
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I'm going to sit right here for now. I got another throw rope.
Yeah. I don't think they all know each other that well, too, listening to this stuff.
I hate calling it the Z-Drag kit. I prefer calling it the safety kit or pin kit, but it does a lot more than just Z-rigs. It's the rope, it's the pulleys. Like,
Should I throw it? You need another throw rope? No? Okay.
All right.
Yeah, keep kicking. Hell yeah! Good shit, Cal. Catch the boat. The boat's going down now.
Luckily, they handled this well too. They had boats downstream as safety to pick stuff up. Like I think overall, like, you know, we can definitely nitpick anything, and if if this is a video of us, I'm sure we would do things that we would have preferred to have done differently. So, but like, they didn't, you know, everyone's wearing helmets and life jackets again. Look, they're they're dressed to effect a rescue. So
I don't think everybody's wearing helmets. Like, that guy on the rock's not wearing a helmet.
he's not. Would you wear a helmet on this run, Zach?
I would no,
Okay.
but some people are and some people aren't.
A lot of them are wearing helmets, though.
Yeah. Now I think this boat's the problem. Again, if they had just pulled, I mean, too bad there's not video of this boat, but they probably pushed and ended up in this little pocket.
I like how they're talking about it and just kind of chilling out. They don't seem rushed. People don't seem stressed in this moment. They're just like, all right, what do we need to do?
I'm holding on to you, motherfucker. And we'll do like a triple hold on.
This guy swears a lot, by the way. This is not G-rated.
How did they get that swimmer off the rock?
If you tie it to the back corner of the
I think
frame,
they
and
just
wrap the
jumped
rope
in.
around the corner of the rock where he is, it might pull the leverage around it that way.
Is this? I mean,
Oh,
do
yeah,
you think
oars up.
is this dangerous for the
Get the
people on the
oars
boat? Is there a sieve down here? Like, if they fall out, are we worried about the people on the boat at all?
It's hard to see. I haven't seen anything I'm too worried about, but it
Doesn't
looks
look
like
like
there's
water.
a little civvy. It looks like it's a little civvy.
Yeah, like all that water flowing through there goes down through some rocks or something.
Looks like there's a little bit down in there. You can
Yeah,
see
there's a
just
lot of water.
underneath him. Yeah, there's definitely some water going through the rocks there.
Would you try to get at least one of them off the boat?
The one guy's taking off oars. I think, man, they look. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, depends on who they are.
Hit him. The other oar.
I think I'm sure they just tried to push. Like, I think they just didn't. Yeah, they tried to push this move. Again, somebody told them that pushing is cool. People get that impression. They try to push the move. Now they're taking the oars off. Do we need to take the oars off?
I don't think it's a bad idea, but
Here,
I would.
got you.
I might leave an oar down at the bottom because I think they're gonna have to try to push the boat around the corner, and I'd use an oar to help push it off. If that makes sense.
I don't like
Second.
ropes.
All right.
Those ropes.
Oh, the ropes are all over the
Yeah,
place.
I'll
Yeah,
tie it.
totally.
I think
Oh,
I
Yeah,
just
look at
clean
all
that.
those
I'm gonna
ropes.
untie it. One sec.
I take a
I'm
minute,
tied to
clean all
this
those ropes
oar
up, and figure out what's
that-
going on.
How did they end up on the right side?
Pushing. I mean, that's it.
Well, Sean makes a great point. Pushing lava falls. Yeah, Sean, I would not want to pull lava falls.
We're gonna camp at the beach.
The push. Right side of lava after passing.
The wedge hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they're different. I mean, there's different techniques for different places.
He just threw that oar, huh? Is that what he-
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, everyone seems pretty level-headed.
Yeah, and I think that
And
sometimes people are in a rush right here. Like, there's a big rush to do something, and there really shouldn't be any rush.
No.
Looks like it looks like the morning. I don't know. Maybe it's the evening. Maybe they need to make miles, but
And I think private trips are harder than a commercial trip in these types of situations because the leadership, the chain of command is not as clearly defined. And I think it gets a lot messier. And I think that's what makes it even more impressive what they're doing.
I think when I watched this earlier, that was my main thought: is there's nobody's in charge.
Mm-hmm. But they're getting it done.
Yeah.
It would be nice for one person to be in charge, probably, but you know, they seem to be working together pretty darn well. So,
But there's not an incident commander. There's not one person who's just doing it. 3 bag rescue saves the Khalees. Cool.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's nothing against firefighters. It's just a different situation. I feel like firefighters are much more often next to the river, and we usually have a raft.
Don't let that sweep you out, Kaden. Don't let that sweep
But
your
in-
legs.
I think
Don't
Aaron's
let that
the
sweep
point
your
earlier is
legs, 'cause that's
with
gonna
rescue
swing around.
classes, a lot of rescue classes are for firefighters,
Mhm.
and the only technique you have as a firefighter really is to throw the bag because you don't have whitewater experience to go take a boat out there.
It's like I always allude to, like,
Base rescue.
if we were to show up if you were to train us on how to handle a fire, a burning house, it wouldn't be go inside the house. It'd be to stay outside. You know what I mean? Because we don't have that experience, and firefighters go in the house all the time. That's what they're trained to do, and it's just like, cool, you guys know how to do that. Like, what are we trained to do? We're trained to run rivers with rafts. That's what we know how to do. That's our scene. Yeah.
But when we run as a group of rafts down the river, if somebody falls out, our first instinct would be like, let's use the rafts to get them in, not swimmer throw bag. Like, I think this point is like, as boaters, our first instinct should not be throw bag because we're in boats, we can get them. Whereas if you're a firefighter and you don't have a boat and you're on shore, that's a tool you have is a throw bag, and you're on shore, not in a boat. You don't. We've talked about this a lot. Like throwing a throw bag from a raft is really suspect.
See, I think if they had an oar right now, it'd make it. They could use it like to push that corner where the paddle is. They could push that corner and kind of push it out around.
Just gotta get
Have
on
one
the
person
inside
pushing.
of it here and push the tube.
That makes
Get on
sense?
the inside of
Yeah.
this tube.
Yeah, just push
Yeah, they got
push on the
it.
boat
It's
with the
coming
oar
off
to
right
push
now.
away from the rock.
There's a stick that's wedging it.
Yeah,
It's
I
coming
think
off.
it's a great use for oars in situations
Pushing
like
stuck
this.
boats.
Yeah,
No,
like
they got
things
it.
like this, where
They
you're trying to get
got
stuff
this
back
stick.
out and it's awkward.
It's free. It's free. Oh, it's coming.
So right here, I'm like, what are the ropes doing? As
Yeah.
the boat comes through, is the rope going to tangle in somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
there's a suit.
it's good
That
to
guy
be able
has
to
a lot.
identify sieves and know that it's dangerous.
Here. Come on, you. You need more people here? Toss this rope there.
That guy had a lot of force on the rope he was holding just by himself.
I got you. It's
I
coming to
like
you.
that. I got you. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'll get a better. Sorry. This part gets knotted up a little. Here. Boom. Okay, it's to her.
I mean, they're doing a lot of the details right. They're sitting on the upstream side of the
Upstream of
boat,
the
of the rope. Like, they're making a lot of good decisions.
That Cocotat vest is a rescue vest, but I think it's missing its. Does it look like a little?
What if I did?
Oh yeah, the line. It's got the belt, but it might have
undone or
not gone
something.
through in the belt loops or something.
Yeah.
You guys keep holding it. Okay. Yeah, I'll take on over this, and you go. Hold up. I'll take over your spot, and you go situate somewhere else that you need. Oh,
That's confusing. I don't know you, so.
I could jump it confidently if you want me to do it. I'm confident I could do it. If you doubt yourself, I'm confident.
I was over here without.
If you want me
Is
to
that
do
boat
it, just
tube
tell me, I'll
wrapped?
do it.
There we go. I think they want somebody.
It's coming now. It's coming. It's starting to come now.
Oh, that
Hold on.
tube's underwater. But they want somebody on that rock. I think that's
I'm gonna say, if that were a raft,
should've used
this would be a way
basic
messier
this is
situation.
toast.
Here we go. It's coming. It's coming. It's
It'd be
coming.
a nasty wrap.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's almost there.
Good communication. I love that. I love these. Just like it's like good positive communication. It's kind of messy because now it's gonna go down this channel and get stuck in that next little rock.
I mean, do you? I was looking at this when I first saw it. Do you think that there's any better options
do you need me
from
to
what
get
we're
on
doing
there?
right now?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
The
Doug, how about
first
you?
boat.
If it was
The
a
first
raft,
boat.
what was that, Dougie?
Go ahead, Zach. Well, the first boat that went downstream, was there a rope attached to it when they let it go? Do you know?
I
I
think.
think so.
Oh.
I got it. I got it.
Oh, that was cool.
The hero move.
Yeah.
Show me
Yeah.
the fucking rope.
It's always nice when you have a super Kevin with you. Hey, athletic, strong person, go do this thing. It's kind of dangerous. I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big jump.
So, yeah, that cat boat is.
They're sounding a little more stressed now.
Yeah.
It came on a. Yeah, I think
Oh, it came out.
they were almost wrapping it by holding the ropes.
Interesting.
Once they were released from the ropes, it came undone.
Now they seem a little like push it off, push it off.
Just
Well, let me go back. How did that thing come off?
Yeah, it seemed like as soon as the pressure came off.
It flipped. It came off. It
As soon
flipped
as
over.
They let
I got
go.
I got it.
Okay, we got the hero jump. It's a big jump onto wet rock.
Yeah.
Show me the fucking rope.
It's gonna flip here in a second.
Well, they let go of the pressure.
He says, "Throw me the fucking rope."
It's going to
So
flip
it's,
upstream.
it's
huh?
pretty pinned.
Yep.
It's pretty pinned.
See, they're kind of holding in place by pulling on that
Yeah.
rope, trying to
As
pull
soon
it
as they
on.
let the ropes go, it basically there's too many ropes. It flipped.
So-
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
happened. Is it just flipped? Sorry, I should have known that.
Now they seem a little stressed. This is where it's
Yeah.
like, dude, nothing's. This is
Nothing.
like
Yeah,
what,
nobody's hurt.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
What's
Let
the
me-
what's the
Just
yeah
wait, let me
the Big
reassess
Lebowski?
you.
Nothing's effed
I
here,
will.
right?
Let's
Just kind of
reassess
hang
real
out.
quick. Let's reassess.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
It's
There we go.
fine.
He's
Let's
doing it.
reassess.
And the guy with the GoPro, I think here, he just keeps saying, "Let's reassess. Let's reassess." It's super smart because we're stable. Nobody's in jeopardy. Like, just take a minute, clean the ropes up, look around, like what he's doing, and then figure out the next step.
Yeah.
Now it's nice the oars came off
You want to
Mhm.
go back over there? Okay.
because the oars were on to be kind of a mess.
Hold on. Let me get it better. Let me get it better. Just let me undo this.
There's definitely a little tension here.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't sound like they know each other either, because the one guy's like, "I don't know you, dude."
Yeah. He's like, if you want the rope, here you go.
No, it's hooked in this bag.
It's caught on the bag that was untied.
I want to step on it. I'm fine. I'm fine. We're gonna get it.
This is a classic, man. I feel like
Yeah.
it's stressful. It's hard, and they're handling it well. I bet we've
It's
all
an
been
alpha.
there.
It's an alpha thing right here.
Yeah.
But Aaron, you were asking a minute ago, what's another way to deal with that from the beginning, huh?
I think
Yeah.
we need to get
Yeah.
right here,
What was I asking?
and then we'll try.
Aaron
I
was
said-
asking, what's another way to deal with that?
I don't
Are
see
there-
another way. Do you?
Yeah.
Doug, do you have another way?
Oh, it's already tied on.
I can't think of anything right now. No.
This is how this boat's coming out.
Yeah.
This is how it's exiting where it was,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna be pretty or fun, but
The only thing I can think of is would there be a way to pull it upstream from upstream?
yeah, I didn't.
There's a big wall upstream, though. I was looking at it. It didn't look like that'd be easy. So they're holding onto the rope, trying to.
All
The
right,
rope's kind of
Pendulum it
chalked.
in.
You see that? It's kind of
Oh.
chalked in the rope.
Yeah, and
See
then
how-
they let go. Now all those ropes are going in the water. This is. I'm not
Get
psyched on
another
this
rope,
part.
and I'll tie this to it. Okay?
Does he have the?
It's heavy.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty heavy.
Oh, he's trying to figure out how to get the drag bag over.
Just grab. I got a rope up there. I have a. Okay.
I didn't watch this
It's
part.
gonna go in the water.
This can't end well. Whoa, the guy in the rock has
Yeah.
a party mouth, but he's kind of a stud. I'm not sure. His rowing skills are a little bit suspect. He's got to watch his language, but
Who is he? The person with the camera that we followed down the river?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
now he's going.
So all those loose ropes, that was not that cool. Having multiple ropes on the boat going
Yeah.
down, just more stuff.
Like when it was stable and they were like, "Hey, let's take a second to figure this out." They should have done some stuff with ropes, like taking
Yeah.
one of them off.
They
They could have flipped it there.
It's
Hmm.
right
The
there.
people on the
I will, but I'm just
rock
saying,
could have
don't
pulled it
forget my pin
up
kick.
onto the rock and
All
flipped
right.
it.
Yeah. I think that would be a good spot to say, hey, when we push it out from here, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? Once this boat starts going downstream, what are we doing? How is it handling it?
What was that whistle for?
He's gonna jump in the water.
He's in the water now.
Did he whistle for his like? I'm gonna get in the water. I'm gonna whistle so you all watch me. What was that about?
Yeah. I think
You guys
so.
agree that's a weird use of a whistle?
Well,
Just
he did
wait.
three
Just
whistles.
wait. Yeah, 3 whistles.
Have you seen the whole thing, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay, he's in the eddy.
Yeah.
Remember he has that tiny
Yeah.
DFD.
He's swimming well.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. Oh, is that his whistle? Hey, save me.
Which I'm concerned about that. I'm like, dude, if you feel like you need to blow that like that, maybe don't leave the rock until you make eye contact with somebody and say, hey, I'm going to swim. You ready to get me?
And he's blowing him in sets of 3.
While swimming downstream. This is an interesting. I don't remember this. Yeah. Being a common practice. We never practiced this in my courses. Have you guys ever practiced that? Blowing your whistle?
He's
while
self-rescuing
swimming?
anyway.
I'm great.
They heard the whistle, but they're like,
Give
yeah,
me the
you're
rope,
good.
though. Not yet. Let me get closer. You're not gonna make it.
Who's
Just let
not
me
gonna
flop
make
to
it?
you. I'm coming.
Okay, I think
Well,
your
that was
idea
good.
of push off the oar might have avoided the slowness and raft potential. Yeah, I think the oar would have helped. Homie threw that bag 10 plus feet, but still couldn't push.
Yeah, we're
that
all good now. We got
river.
everything free.
Yes.
You just got to
I mean,
get
that's
me
just
out of
a-
the water.
I think his oar setup was pretty.
He's good.
His oar
Everyone's
setup
good.
makes it harder for him to
Hold
run.
on.
Everyone's good.
We're about to get a
got it.
rescue.
We just need to get that boat flipped.
We got a little more to
How
do.
did he pass the boat?
No, he didn't. He's just swimming to shore.
Oh, here's the throwback from the
Throwback.
raft. I guess the raft's on shore, so it's okay.
No, they're rowing out to him.
They're rowing up.
And then he's going to go swim to it and he's going to get the rope.
All right.
Come on.
The cat-
And he has a cigarette.
That'll wait.
So the cat is on the
Right now.
right side of the screen, huh?
Fucking yeah, boy.
Upside down.
We gotta
Yeah.
get that boat
There we
flipped,
go. We
though.
got two awesome people out there about to flip it in the current the easy
I got
way.
it. I can get up.
Wait, did he bag him the cigarette in his mouth? Because that's awesome.
The guy,
I think he
the guy
did.
with the cigarette in his
First
mouth
time
bagged
dating
him.
We got a
Oh, they got
ladder.
the rapid rung. They got the
Yeah,
ladder.
bud.
Ooh. Yeah.
Works
That looks
pretty
sweet,
well.
huh? I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
I would say.
That little ladder looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude, he's the only one who didn't even hear about the birthing canal. Like when we were all talking, he wasn't even there. And then we cast it off. Everyone was like Grayson, and everyone's like, oh, he's fine. We're moving.
Oh, they knew about the birthing canal.
And it sounds like the one guy didn't. It sounds like that was part of the problem is no one talked to him about it before and let him know, hey, don't be on the right side of the river here. So, yeah, not
Look,
so
I'm
good.
swimming. That's funny.
I'm gonna start doing that, jumping in to start blowing whistle.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is why
Yes.
throw the exactly. I mean, it was like it's just over. I mean, but that's why we talk about it in the show and bring it up over and over and over is to just make that point to like other people. Like somebody from this group might watch us do this show and then have to be like, oh yeah, maybe next time we won't throw it back from a raft. We'll just go get them. So that's what we have to.
I'm gonna go back and say overall a good rescue.
Yeah.
You know, and like I probably wouldn't have handled it much different. Like I think talking before that last, hey, when the boat comes off, what are we gonna do? Or hey, when the boat comes around the corner, what are we doing with the ropes? What are we doing when it gets around the corner? You know, those types of questions are when they were last time they pushed off. Hey, what are we gonna do after we push it off? Do we want ropes on there? Are we gonna blade it in? If we're not gonna blade it in, let's just take the ropes off now, and we'll kind of just like push it out there and shimmy and get it out of the current and let it go.
And I wonder what would have happened if they didn't transition to pulling it from the rock the guy jumped to.
I do.
If they would have just kept pulling on it. Because that was a big jump, and maybe that rock wouldn't even been there next time. Who knows? But
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good
he
question.
should have swum to shore. That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
And then the raft should have got him. And the throwback should never have come from the raft. I shouldn't say never because maybe there's an example where I don't know. That's insane. Literally a better rescue than some I've seen experienced people. Yeah. Yeah. No, people
Totally.
get fired up. Just
Yeah, and
it's
it's
because
hard.
you're an experienced boater doesn't mean you're a good rescuer. Those aren't correlated.
It's hard to keep your calm. And they had that one point where they're getting a little snippety at each other, but they calmed back down. They got it back together.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I mean. Like it doesn't. really, it's not. You don't see rescues handled much better than this. Like, did we ever feel like people were in jeopardy, their lives are in jeopardy, or they're really in unsafe positions? I didn't feel like it. Like maybe a little with the strainer, I'm a little worried about it, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, they're really behaving in a sketchy manner. That's totally stupid.
I think there was some rope management that could have gone bad.
Yep, totally.
I wasn't a huge fan of that jump to the rock.
What? Really, Dougie?
I'm with
I
Dougie.
mean, it was
I'm
He
big.
landed it, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, injury, it could cause an injury. I mean, it seemed unnecessary. It seemed like there would be a way to deal with getting that wrapped around without doing that.
I'm with Dougie on that one. I know I said the guy was a hero. I mean, it's always nice that somebody can, hey, so-and-so, you go do that jump for us. But like, let's say he does get hurt, right? Like that's a big jump and a slippery rock. He falls, hits his head. Did you need to do that jump? I'm with Dougie on this. If
Would you rather just, would it have been better for him to swim to the eddy behind the rock and climb up on the rock, do like a swift water entry, shallow water entry, and then swim across and catch the eddy? Would you prefer that, Dougie?
That would have been a little bit better. But is there a way to do it without getting somebody? And they even had somebody on that rock in the beginning, in the first part of the video.
But I wanted to go back to that and say, I think that's an interesting thing is maybe be like, hey, bro, let's stay on that rock till we get the sailboat run in the case we need help with it. Like, that's
on the rock didn't get the boat off.
Right. Letting go of the rope is what.
Yeah. So it's not like he jumped on the rock and saved the day.
Yeah.
He just jumped on the rock and looked cool. And
he saved the bag.
He did save the bag. They would have got it downstream. It was like it would have been better if he just let it float down because then he had to like get it and the rope's tangled up in it. And then to throw it to the guy who has to carry it down. Like he could have just as long as it was like a good dry bag. Just let it go.
And back to that, leave that guy on the rock from the first part of the video. Like if he's there already and you might need him there later and he's not going to help anywhere else or you meet him somewhere else.
I think so. That's a good idea. Hey, dude, stay there. We might need you to push on something. Yeah. But I'm very thoughtful about, if we're on a roadside run, do the jump. I don't know. But if we're in the wilderness, we just don't want somebody to get hurt, and that's a big jump. Yeah. Of course, this guy could have been a long jumper or whatever, but that's why I love that.
I mean, he had a wide angle lens on it. Maybe not. It's a weird lens. Maybe it wasn't that big of a jump.
Big jump, but yeah. All right, I guess the comments. A lot of rescue flashes teach all the skills, but they like teaching who, when exactly, teaching you when to. Yeah, I think there's some principle.
And in a 3-day class, you just get it all jumbled together. You're getting a lot of information.
Yeah.
In 3 days, and maybe
it's hard to disperse. Principles though that we need to like really hammer in, and one of them is that ropes are dangerous. You're going to use them, but this is dangerous. We're going to use these. These are dangerous.
Well, personally, I think the 3-day classes should be more fundamentals in general.
It's like rigs.
Practicing your swimming. Yeah, swim rescue, rescuing people with rafts. Maybe,
Yeah, actually, I think so when you're doing swiftwater rescue, if it's like pulling a wrap off, that's just equipment retrieval, right? Mm-hmm. But saving a person is a valuable skill. So why we spend so much time on 3-to-1s and wraps, which is just equipment retrieval, when we should be like practicing getting your craft and go get a person and bring them to shore.
Yeah, and saving yourself if you're in the water.
Oh, yeah. So just swimming and self-rescue. Mm-hmm. They just all about aggressive self-rescue. If you have a river in your district, you should be very good at all this stuff.
Totally. Yeah, he's talking about as a firefighter. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just to make sure, clear, like we're super psyched on firefighter swiftwater rescue. Like we like it. We think it's important. We're just saying whitewater rafters and firefighters may not be best for y'all to be taking the same class, if that makes sense. Like how firefighters as a group are going about swiftwater rescue and how rafters are going about swiftwater rescue might not be the same. And sometimes like there's definitely some divergent areas with them.
Yeah. Like a raft group is going down as a team performing rescues on the way down the river. Firefighters are generally going to a scene that exists and performing a rescue. It's the moving nature of a rescue in a team is different than the like somebody's stuck on something and you're showing up with a bunch of equipment. and doing things.
And both need to practice their skills. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but then if firefighters are also boaters, that's amazing. And a lot of firefighters are. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, totally.
I agree it's not best practice, but if I'm in a boat and a swimmer is blowing a whistle and asking for a rope.
Yeah, good point. Yep. Probably too. Just get him to stop blowing that damn whistle. And it wasn't a bad spot. Like, it was a pool, man. It wasn't like that's a dangerous spot to throw a rope from. That was definitely a spot where you're
Was
like,
he asking for a rope? Was he asking for it?
Yeah, he was.
A rope?
Yeah.
I think he did. Throw me the rope. Yeah, not yet. I'm not close enough. Hold on. Wait to throw me the rope. Yeah, he was.
I'd be like, dude, are you okay? Cool. Swim to shore. Don't swim to me. I don't want to even deal with you. I don't want to pull you in. You can use my ladder if you want, but the shore is right there. You got this. Ever do the climb, then jump, passing the raft procedure at Rocket Chucky when you used to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Yeah. Good for tips. I mean, people go over Rocket Chucky in the waterfall, and I don't think guests appreciate how hard that is. It's just dangerous. But when you have to like jump on that rock, like jump in the water, climb on that rock, and then jump in front of the sieve or the undercut rock to get the raft, I think people are more impressed by that. Dougie, wasn't it with you when you had to swim over to that above the sieve, that eddy above the sieve?
You swim across the river above the drop, above the big drop.
Sometimes there's that rock you have to climb up on, and the raft goes by, but sometimes the eddy's out on the right.
Yeah.
So then you had to
wait, on the right or left?
River left. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you had to jump off the rock and swim above the sieve to catch the eddy.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that swim, but I might have.
Yeah, I just heard a story of a guide who broke his knee going over that drop.
Yeah.
Totally true.
Can you? No, I guess not. Did they have upstream safety and downstream safety? They had
downstream for sure. Yeah.
But I don't know if they could even have upstream safety there. There wasn't really a place to do it. It'd be hard. I mean, you could have one of the rafts eddy out on the left. That's where you need an instant commander. That's where you need somebody in charge who's like, hey, guy, like that was just them all doing a rescue, and like, all the alphas went to the same spot, and like let's all do all the rope stuff and jump on rocks. And all the people that are chill are down. All the hippies are down the eddy, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. Like somebody could have been like, what?
Do we really need upstream safety on that?
Yeah,
here's the question: are you not going to run the rapid when they're screwing around over on River Right? No, you're not going to run the rapid, and like the place you're supposed to go is super open. And if you get over to that side,
you could have one of those hippies down at the bottom walk up the right shore and just tell the groups, be like, hey, our boat's stuck, we're good. That's important information.
Yeah.
If you want it, you may want to go down and take a look before you run it.
Yeah, and like, hey, go left. You don't need any more problems. Like they could actually hold a clinic on how to pull instead of push. Hey, so I'm going to have a whiteboard out and show you how to run rapids. When you guys make this move, use your pull stroke. Here's how you turn the angle to the boat. You guys got this? And then so that way they don't caught another boat on top of that would be a mess.
That'd be a mess.
So they could go up and teach a class about rowing. That might work. All right, we got to wrap this show up soon. Yeah, I don't think the right side you're going to get upstream, but one of the people in the bottom there chilling, smoking cigarettes, could eddy on the left and then walk up that bank.
That'd be a good place to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, no, the left. I think
waiting at the top and smoking your cigarettes. That's a great idea.
Yep, be a pretty casual place to do it. All right, we have one more video. We've done this one before.
All right, Tappan Falls. We got another group. I got here just in time to get
Zach,
a video
you're not showing the
action.
video
These
yet.
guys go over.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. Can you hear it?
We can hear it.
I love this video so much. Why isn't it showing? Well, let me pause it. Oh, why is it not working?
The voice sounds a little bit like Timmy.
There we go. I'll start over the video.
Tappan Falls. We got another group. I got here just in time to get a video action. These guys go over. They're not scouting. They're just running it.
So we reviewed this already with Max Rogue Yeti, his YouTube channel, and we've already
pretty
kind of
radical area.
beat this one to death.
That's a big capo too. There's the big monster hole, the tail. You want to miss that. All right, it goes to a smaller boat. He's about a 14-footer. That's the guy that A little older than me. That guy's older than I am. Look at he's going. Where's he going? He's going for the monster hole area. Look at that little puma.
This
There's a
video
puma
has
going
like
for it.
500,000 likes. It's so good.
I lost an oar. He makes it.
So what
Big waves in there. Holy smokes, there's some big monster waves.
Zach, why are we watching this again? Just because you love his commentary?
No, let's just finish it
Yeah,
out and
good
then I'll
action.
tell you. I'm sorry, I'm addicted to this video.
Another big cat boat.
A sweet GoPro there.
All right, how's he going? He's entering over there a little bit on more left. Ooh, he getting Maytagged in there. Boy got Maytagged. Hardcore's getting Maytagged. Oh, he shuffled in the whole length of the falls. Good action
my
for the
God.
video.
Oh man, this is so funny.
Where are these guys going? They're going over there that follow him that may get Maytagged too. Yeah, they're getting Maytagged hardcore.
Hardcore. Oh shit.
That's where you're not supposed to go.
Oh yeah. That light, dude.
Oh, they're history.
Oh yes, their eyesight.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's bad news for those boys.
I can't. I have to watch it by myself later. It's like so funny to me. So we did a review of this, and you know, a couple things came up in that video, and my favorite thing is they were just surfing forever. And I remember I was like, hey, you know, everybody else just pull over and have a lunch. They'll come out eventually. And I thought that, you know, my end solution was like tie a rope, like have one person just jump out and get to safety, then tie a throwback to that raft and try to have it go downstream to another raft and get it and jump to get the second person out. Right. That was my solution. Everybody who comments on the video was like, throw them a throwback from shore. I just think shore was too far away. It's not. Throwback from shore is probably not going to pull it out. That was my end result. But somebody who was actually there wrote us an email with their about what actually happened. It kind of went down, and some pretty interesting stuff. Actually, I'm gonna turn the volume down because it's so distracting for me. But play it again. So they stopped at Grouse, which is like 2 miles back, and they talked about the lines. So although the guy who's announced things like they're not scouting, they did talk about the lines right ahead of time, and which is a detail. But what happens here, if you watch it, and he said this happened too, is they like played follow the leader. Like the first person had a pretty good line. Like this is the first person. That's probably where you go. But they kept drifting more and more left. And so that's where scouting is key. So you have markers. So you have things to look for, not just like the person before to define, I'll kind of go there. And then you watch every boat goes. That's why he's like, he gets the boat before him kind of gets made tagged. It's a cat boat, so it got set free. But you know, this is where scouting would have been huge.
And on the back of his boat.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's like a Godzilla.
Yeah, it's like a. People like to have.
But Zach, I'm going to say, Zach, that's the classic inflatable kayaking issue on commercial trips, where you've got you got the raft, the inflatable kayaks are falling. The first person does fine. The next person's a little farther off, and by the time you get to like the fourth one, they're just like, you're like, no, you don't want to be there. I mean, we're definitely encourage adventure, but man, you got to be able to look for downstream current too, and where is the current going downstream, and see where that is. This isn't that challenging of a spot.
It's,
you know what I mean?
Not, but like not everybody's Aaron Cavagnolo out there.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying it's like you got to be able to look for downstream current and be able to tell what's a hole and what is a wave terrain. Like if you're rowing the middle fork of the Salmon, you need to be able to do that.
Yeah, that hole's hard to see. I think that hole's hard to see. But he said, going back, I'm just looking at the comments he sent me. He said when they pulled over at Grouse, they talked about, they said, go far right and you'll be fine. Those are the words that were said. And that's what happens if you tell somebody 2 miles ago, go far. They don't even know this is Tappan Falls potentially. Right? You can say the words at Grouse, hey, once you get to Tappan Falls, go right and you'll be fine. Well, they may not even know they're at Tappan Falls at this point. So like, to go far right. They're just following the people in front of them. Or they might have just forgotten that because they, if you're like, hey, we're going to get to the Tappans, like this is a pretty common talk. Like when we get to Tappins, Tappin 1's gonna be pretty easy. Go down the middle. When you get Tappin 2, go far right. When you get Tappin 3, do this, 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 and this. When you Tappin 4, do this, 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 and this. Well, most people just ignored all that because it's too much information. So pulling over a grouse and talking about it, I think just isn't adequate. Unless you're like, hey, when we get to Tappan Falls, that's the second rapid. I'm going to give a signal and you're going to go right. Like that, like one piece of information. And when they get there, there's going to be something that lets them know. And then the first boat going into it could have been signaling, don't forget to go right. Because just saying words doesn't mean it was.
Well, and the first boat could signal in this, and we do on commercial trips. The first boat signals, the second boat signals to the third boat, the third boat signals to the fourth boat.
Keep passing it back.
Yeah.
And maybe here the second boat thought the first boat was too far right. And so they went, like you were saying, Aaron, with IKs. They saw they went into something. They're like, I don't want to go there. I'm going to go a little bit left of that.
I think they're just not paying attention. They're just trying to follow where the person went, and they're not even trying to read the river. I think they're just trying to. I'm just going to follow that person. They're just lemmings, just like I'm following that person, and and it's like, oh, this looks like where they went, not looking at where they actually even are in the river. I mean,
yep. And so, so that's a little bit of an issue. Just like that communication is tough. Communication has to be not just. Communication isn't just words. It has to be, and Doug, you can help me with this, because you're really good at this kind of thing, right? It has to be understood and like taken in as well. It has to be heard and consumed. So just saying words isn't enough. The people on the other end have to actually hear them and take them to heart. Am I saying that right, Dougie?
Yeah, I mean, the way to paraphrase, the person listening can paraphrase what they heard so that you make sure that they heard it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Sean makes a good point here. Like when one was like, whoa, I got really close to that hole, they just look back right away and be like, dude, go right, go farther right. Don't follow me.
Yeah, right.
Like that's a really good point too. And then,
I don't think the
other thing I'm going to say is the second to last boat got surfed in the hole. Like the cat got stalled out in there. You got to look at that and be like, that doesn't look good.
If the cat was a raft, the cat would have done the same thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. But if the rafter looks like the cat stalled out and was like sitting there floating around, like didn't look like it went downstream. Another thing I'll say is boat spacing. If they're closer, it goes better.
Yeah, they're both spacing pretty far apart. And there's two groups here, right? So, Sean, most of the boats below were with a different group, as I understand it. Maybe, but like if there's boats below, like it's not like when there's two groups, you don't signal for the other group where to go. You're not like, hey, you guys should go here. You assume they know what they're doing, especially if they don't scout. But I'll tell you the interesting thing he told me, and I'm going to get to this in a second, in the email about what happened that day, was that the boat that gets Maytagged, the really bad one, it's an experienced boater, but he was letting his friend who was new row the boat. So the rower is actually the passenger in this case. And the passenger was allowed to row. So these are decisions. I mean, if you're behind this boat, right, and you see that happen, in your experienced rower, you would be like, oh, I got to go more right. But the person rowing was a novice rower or a novice whitewater person. So they're just like kind of did the same thing. I think, and in the email, he says that's the biggest mistake they made. They let somebody who didn't really have the experience row.
Well, come on. I mean, that's not the biggest mistake. The mistake is the guy who was sitting up front didn't point to the right and be like, dude, be farther right. What would we all been doing? Be like, dude, no, get over there, get over there. Like, I don't think this is that hard. Like, it's worth. You can let someone who's not the experienced row this. Just make sure they're on the right part. The dude just sitting up there looking downstream.
Yeah, I mean, he may not. I mean, I get caught up sometimes. Like I've done Tappan Falls a million times. I start to get to a little bit lackadaisical. Like, oh, it's fine. It always goes well. But yeah, I think I love how they throw the rope from the boat. It's funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. Do they say how they got? What did they say about getting it out? I forget what happens with that.
He said that the people on River Left just couldn't get them a rope, and that they sort of felt Passenger buddy guy. And he wrote a comment about how from River Left, they really didn't feel like they get them a throw bag. And the people on River Left felt that the River Right people could have got them a bag. But I don't know. That's a long
That's a
throw.
long throw.
Yeah,
And it's a hard catch when you're holding on for dear life in the boat. But he did, break some ribs and rupture a spleen in the flip. And so that's the other thing. The after action is super interesting. Let me open that email. Read it really quick to myself. I'll kind of paraphrase
So
it.
it flips after this section?
Yeah, they surf for like 10 minutes, Dougie. It's kind of crazy. Maybe like, I don't know, a long time.
Here's a question. This is, and I don't know if we talked about this last time. Have you guys ever jumped out of a raft that's been surfing for a long time?
Well, that was what I would do. I mean, at this point, I'm jumping out. Like, I don't want any part of this. And they have good PFDs, it looks like. Like, they don't have that little astral thing.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't want to... Like, there's so many things in this boat to get, like, caught into, and the oars could smack you. I mean, flipping does not sound pleasant. So, I'm probably jumping out. I've never done it.
And
I don't think.
I mean, the reason I wouldn't jump out is because if I'm in it, I can catch a rope or do something from the raft. But you're right.
It's going to come out eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, my point is like make lunch. But if you could, I don't think the guys from shore are going to get him a rope, but I think they can tie a rope to the boat and throw it downstream. And then a boat can row out and get that rope and pull it down.
Mm-hmm.
That's my best guess. I mean, it's really easy to sit here and be an armchair quarterback and come up with it. Or come up with ideas with not being there. Being there at the time is just not fun. You're like, oh, what do we do? People are watching.
Yeah.
Fake. But the company made the passenger was totally exhausted and in pretty bad shape, and he had 2 broken ribs and a torn spleen. And said he was pooping blood. They were going to fly him out, but he felt better and the bleeding stopped. And nobody really, and I think he goes on to say about nobody really knew how they were feeling mentally or physically. And, most of us would just, if we're wiped out from something like this, we're shitting blood, we want to stay, we kind of keep to ourselves, we don't want to talk. But like, what do you guys think about, is that an automatic evacuation?
Yes, automatic. You're pooping blood.
Like,
pooping or peeing blood, yeah. Abdominal injuries, automatic.
Dougie's an evacuation master. He's organized hundreds.
Yeah,
of
in this situation, it's trauma related.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess yes. I mean, I've had.
Yeah, it's not bad gas from eating
not.
like Lipton cup of soup that wasn't properly cooked, so you got the dehydrated onions messing with your system. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to do, right? Because it's like your once in a lifetime middle fork permit. You're with your friends. You made a mistake. You're kind of embarrassed. So if you're like, oh, I'll just stay here and power through. I mean, you want to do that. Somebody has to step in and say, dude, no, you got to get out.
If you're pooping or peeing blood, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dougie, right? I think that's the big thing. If it's trauma related.
Yeah.
It's not rough toilet paper.
Right.
There's, you know what I mean? Like, it was, what it's from.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. It's trauma related. Exactly. Good point with the broken ribs. They can cause a punctured lung or something else, especially if there's multiple broken ribs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the guy who's in the rowing seat looks more comfortable than the guy up front, like with what's going on, and he's always having to continue rescuing the guy up front.
Yeah, I guess. But he's
like multiple. Every time the boat spins around, he's like pulling him up to the high side. I wonder if he already hurt his ribs.
Maybe.
Yeah, he could have definitely already
doing on that oarlock.
Yeah.
Wait, when you say the passenger, are we talking about the guy in the front or the guy rowing?
The guy in the front. This is what it is. What he said. All right, he said. First of all, one of the things was they blindly followed the guy in front of them, and they were too close to see the hole. This can lead to a lot of trouble. I always pick my own line and stay far behind the boat in front of me, which I would like closer boat spacing. And then they were too far in the middle of the river for anyone on the left bank to throw a rope to them. These guys are from our group. I thought the guys in a different group on the right bank should have tried harder to throw a rope to the boat. Blah, blah, blah. As soon as they flipped. Wait, what were you guys asking about?
Looks like that guy on River Right has his dry suit open.
For some
Can't
reason, the
quite
man
tell.
riding. Yeah, that would happen too. Like the guy took his dry suit off and his PFD off. So they're not going to do anything. That's a tough throw. I don't know. And those guys are no place to catch it. I mean, you can attempt
Zach,
that throw.
you can make that, Zach. Let's see how far it goes.
It doesn't even. It might have the distance, but the accuracy is brutal. You know,
It's upstream too.
I didn't see where it went. How close was it?
it went upstream like 10 feet. It's a tough throw.
It is, but I think the key thing is he had the distance, and what was the problem? He hadn't practiced enough with his vest. Because like upstream, downstream, like the angle, that's practice. How far you can throw it, a little bit of practice can get you a little bit farther. But in terms of hitting your angle, like shooting the gun where you're pointing it, that's practice.
Yeah, I mean, I practice a lot, but nobody practices, Aaron. You know that. I feel like we've been this before.
I thought your guides practice too, Zach.
We do. We had rope throw rodeo this year. We have some ninjas with a throwback. I was blown away, actually. And I practice too, but these guys aren't practicing. I mean, not to say that's okay to not practicing, but
And I'm going to go back to and talk about those Swiftwater courses and be like, yep, spend an hour just everyone throwing throwbacks, just like throwing them. Like,
but an hour isn't like that's. When's the last time you took a class, Aaron?
well, I'm
An
kind of in a
hour
different spot.
8
I'm
years
kind of in a
ago.
different spot. I know I teach guide schools every year, so I practice every year.
Yeah, an hour 8 years ago. There's the flip.
Ooh,
That's what.
let's watch that again, see what happens, see if we can see.
It's painful to watch. I really missed the. Wait, let me turn the audio back on because it's my favorite part.
I had to sit down. Well, I might get that throwback over to those guys.
I don't know what they're doing there. Are they
Both moved to the middle compartment. They're both in the middle compartment now.
Yeah.
They're hugging each other.
They're trying to. It spins around. Their center of gravity is way higher. They're not on the high side, and it goes
There
over.
they go. It's over. Now we got big problems now. Man, I hope those guys survive. There's one of them. Yeah, they both popped up. They're downstream.
There's a
Those other guys
throwback.
better start rescuing on those
That was
guys.
a good toss, though.
Holy smokes. The boat finally comes out. Man, we got rescue action going on now.
So funny. But going back to the throwback. Wait, what just happened? Oh, no, that was. When they threw them the throwback from the shore. Where was that? Even if they get them the throwback, I mean, even if it's the perfect throw, right? The perfect throw, is the guy really going to catch it? I mean, they're barely holding on to the boat. Does he? And he's going to have the ability to like clip it to the boat. And then once he does, are those two guys going to pull it out?
Right.
It's a good question.
The
What's
one
the
guy
plan?
would know.
I think those are great. Those are those questions you need to ask before throwing the throwback.
Yeah.
All right. So if we do get the bag there, then what are we doing?
Right.
What's
And then
happening?
you have a rope attached to the boat that could cause more problems.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, maybe the guy just grabs it and jumps out of the boat and gets pendulumed in.
oh, gets the guy off. Like, yeah. Oh, that's how you get somebody out of the boat.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just saying that maybe.
But you see what I'm saying? Just tie a throwback, throw it downstream, have a bag going downstream. It's a little bit of a worry because the boat starts spinning. It could get wrapped up. But then another boat rows over, attaches to it, and pulls the boat downstream.
That makes sense.
And then if that doesn't work, get a couple boats tied together, rowing together, pulling on that thing.
Here's the throw.
All right, we got to wrap this up. We're going 2 hours already. Let's get to some comments. Do you do okay, though? Or bad?
I couldn't see where it landed.
Do you do okay, though? Oh, I think he was fine. I think he the guy who broke the spleen, I think he was fine. I don't know. Did they get the oars back? Would pins and clips been a hazard here? Did the oars come off?
Well, they're loosely dangling instead of like being like
Oh,
going
yeah.
back and forth like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think pins and clips are more of a hazard because they're flapping around hitting you. Probably. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't slide
and
around.
there's a lot more metal on them.
On the oar itself. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. I mean, the difference though is up top of if you those oar locks if they hit
Yeah,
you, they're gonna.
that's true. That's a good point.
That could break a spleen.
That might have been what hurt him too, because he was
Right,
right
like a
next to
pin
the-
is a ball at the top. It still would hurt you to have it, but the little pin things. I mean, these little buggers are gonna just if you land on these, that's gonna hurt. Or if
Yeah.
you land on a ball, but yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
When I'm getting beat down to the hole with pins and clips, I'm super cautious about the oars. That's a good point. They should throw a rope from the boat. They should have done. Someone can always pick up the rope.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying,
Exactly.
right?
Yep, that's exactly what you said, Zach. I think we're all in agreement.
At one point, I know there's a lot of gear and pride in the line, but yeah, I think we talked about this earlier. I'm gonna jump out early, ish. Once I realize if I'm in a paddle boat, I'll probably stay for a while because it's kind of fun. Like there's not stuff to get hurt on in a paddle boat, like an oar boat.
Yeah.
Both oar boat, I don't want to be there.
Well, and I'm going to say there's another part of this too, and this is like goes back to whitewater kayaking too. You stay in a hole so long that you're exhausted, and then decide to pull your skirt and swim. Well, then you're exhausted. So you want to swim before you're exhausted, where you still know you have enough left in the tank to get yourself to shore below and self-rescue. So
I've done some long paddle boat surfs though, where it's just I'm like, oh, I'm here. Let's just enjoy the ride. Let's tell some. I think Aaron, you and I didn't we surf on the North Feather that one time?
yeah,
We're
with
not gonna tell
Martin,
the whole
with
story.
with that guy Martin.
With Martin, who Martin.
Yeah, and
called
then
me.
we flipped, and he went really deep, and
Yeah.
our heads didn't even get wet. Basically, he was not happy with that.
And we just stayed there and had a conversation for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah,
We didn't try to get out because it was like fun. It wasn't a big surf. It was just fun to surf in there. But if that was an oar boat, I would. If we were there for a while, I'd be like, I don't know. There's just too much.
It was a little. It wasn't that big of a hole either. It wasn't that.
Yeah, it
big.
wasn't like this.
It wasn't like this. Yeah.
We could have got out, but I think a paddle boat, I'm willing to hang out somewhere and have some fun. But with all these things that you get hurt on, makes me nervous. That's why I don't like to cap it over waterfalls, or oar boat over waterfalls.
He's trying to deal with the oars right now. Came out of the.
Did he pull them off?
No, I think he was trying to put it back in.
He looks like he's trying to put it back in. Yeah.
And then it popped out again right away.
Well, luckily he didn't have those NRS oar locks; they wouldn't have popped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Comments.
Yeah.
Should have thrown a rope from the boat and bailed out. Oh, we already got that one. Oh, same one. Trying to self-rescue. A friend broke leg in a climbing fall in room destined to call that several miles. Ouch. That's not fun. No helmets. Yeah, I mean, that's what I asked myself, would I have worn a helmet? Would you wear a helmet here, Dougie?
It looks like it's kind of high water, maybe.
Hold on.
I would put mine on once. I put mine on once I started surfing like this.
The question isn't do you wear a helmet here? It's do you wear a helmet here?
Yeah.
Right.
And the problem is when Dougie, you don't wear a helmet because I know you're responsible. Other people follow your lead. So just because you can row this, because you're Dougie Fresh, everybody's like, oh, I can row this too without a helmet, and then everybody's not wearing helmets, and maybe they should.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't bring them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely, if I have a helmet next to me and I'm approaching a rapid that's kind of scary, I'll put it on because I'm just like, it's better on my head than it is tied to the boat right next to me. So
There you go.
I often throw it on.
Aaron, would you wear a helmet?
If I had it on the trip, yeah, like that
Throw it
guy.
on for this rapid, but not the whole time.
I probably wouldn't throw it on for this rapid, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But while you're surfing, would you try to find it?
No, I'm joking about that. I was joking about that. I would say this: it depends who I'm with, whether or not I put the helmet on. If I'm with a bunch of inexperienced people, I might put my helmet on for it, just because I want them to wear their helmets and they're following me down.
Yeah.
If it's you guys following me down, no, I'm not gonna put my helmet on. You can do what you want. You can make your own decision. You're not gonna do it because I put them on anyways. So, but yeah, my daughter's following me down in a boat. I'm gonna put my helmet on. I'm gonna look at her and be like, "Put your helmet on." So, yeah.
What's the concern with the rope tied to a spinning boat?
Oh yeah,
Even if they got
coming up. I mean, this is Rick. That's a great point. And so like my idea is you tie a rope to the raft and you throw the rope downstream. But if the boat starts spinning, that rope can get tangled up in the raft and cause a hazard for these guys.
Well, right. But if they're not in there,
Yeah.
if they're about to swim,
I mean, that's my idea. Sitting on the couch here, or sitting in my
Yeah.
chair, have one of them just get out. You don't need two people in that boat. Just get one out for sure.
Hmm.
And then as a second person, I would tie a rope, throw it downstream, and then I would swim downstream. And there is a rope you're swimming next to, but it's like I'm not worried about that rope. But I don't want to be in that boat with a rope tied to it if the boat's spinning.
Right.
Yeah, the rope can start getting caught up.
I don't
Oh,
think the
absolutely.
ropes, but I think the rope's going to stay underneath because it's getting pulled down the bottom. It's not going to be all of a sudden like come up in the air over the top of the rope.
It might.
Like, are you seeing the bow? Are we seeing the bow line at all? No, it's like, you're not seeing that stuff.
It-
I
yeah,
don't
but
think
it's
so.
when they flip.
I can see
it might. It might, but I really doubt it.
It's
Now,
one of those,
I would be more concerned though if that boat flipped over. If the boat flipped over and I was still in the boat when it flipped over and that line was attached, then I would be concerned.
yeah, that's a good point. I jump out, especially. Yeah, I totally agree. Like with no helmet, I'm out. There's no.
You just look at your buddy and be like, "See ya," and then jump out.
Did you ever see that video
Good
when
luck.
we took a raft surfing in the ocean with Dan Martin, and we like we have an oar boat, and we're pushing out in the water, and we're about to just get pummeled. It's on we did the Smith River down the ocean,
Yeah.
and we're surfing the raft, and we got one good surf. It was pretty cool, like 10-foot wave. Were you there, Dougie, for this?
I wasn't there.
So we have video of this. We're going out in the ocean. I have 4 paddlers and an oar frame trying to surf a wave. We're going back out, and this massive wave comes in, and Dan puts his paddle down and just dives into the surf. The wave hits us and just demolishes us. It was awesome. That's so Dan, right? He's just like, I'm out. I am not going to get beat down in this raft.
Yeah, smart move.
Cool.
Thanks, Mason.
Agreed. It's okay if to jump out. People getting things. Yeah, I wear ropes, entanglement things are a problem for me. So
Yeah, if you're gonna try that thing, I think it'd be best to have no one left in the boat. I think if you're gonna do that, like set it up and jump out. Be like, okay, I'm gonna set the boat up, the throw bag up, get it all tied up, and like I don't know if I jump out with it at the same time or throw it and then jump out at the time. But I would just I would not want to be in the boat if you were trying something like that.
I think this is an example of something I think about a lot. Before this happens, you get to have a great trip. You get to do all the things you want to do. You get to do. You're on a river trip. You're having fun. You're in a good position. Now you're in this messed up position. There may not be a way out that is clean.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a spot, so you have to choose between the worst of several evils. Do I want to ride it out and maybe break a spleen, or do I want to jump out and have a rope attached? Like, which
Or just
natural thing am I gonna do?
or just jump out and the raft will come out on its own, Zach, as you said before. Don't even worry about the rope. Just jump
Make
out.
lunch. That was my first point. Like, get them
just
both out and make lunch.
I think that's probably the best option. Just jump out after you've been in there for a while and you're like, dude, you look at your buddy, you're like, we're not really helping this. At that point, if you jump out, maybe they'll change the physics in there too.
Yeah, and that's what happened, right?
Yeah, when they were like sitting on top of each other.
Too, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would happen over time. But also going back to the rescue class, if these guys were they may not know they can jump out, right? We know we've all swum enough rapids. We're like, that's a pretty chill swim. They might be like, oh no, that swim could kill you.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's knowing what a bad swim is and what not a bad swim is. And I think that goes back to the Lador guys, like knowing. Like you could just jump and swim and you're gonna be fine. You don't.
Do you think you could get researched if you jumped out of there?
I don't think so. You wouldn't. That'd be if you did. It'd be so nasty though. But you can see the boil line that you can get. You just swim past the boil line pretty easy. Jump off the ends. I don't know. There's a way to like right there be on the end and just like jump out the back, but you can plan it. But I think that's when we talk about rescue classes. I think about rescue classes a lot. Spend a whole day swimming rapids. So you know what you can and can't swim. Could be pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta wrap this one up.
Okay.
Dougie, thanks for joining us. This is where Aaron does his classic close down, and we try not to interrupt him.
We usually have 2 or 3 attempts, so we'll see how we're doing. So we get back, Zach. First of all, we back again next week, 2 p.m. Pacific
We're
time.
here. Hey, I'm back. I'm not going anywhere for a while, so
Oh, fantastic!
get ready for more mediocre shows.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, thanks for joining us. It was fun it's fun seeing you, and it's fun having you on the show today. And you guys, thanks for all your comments and your input here, and for saying those videos. And if you guys have more videos you want us to review, you can send them to Aaron. That's AARON at riversandoceans.com. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button. Zach, how many followers are you up to?
I mean, we're approaching 6,000 subscribers.
What's subscribers? What's your goal? 10,000?
My goal is 5 million because I think
5 million. Oh, yep. Sorry, no win today, Zach. Maybe next time. But yeah, hit that like button. Subscribe.
Hold on, I'm interrupt. I think he's actually making fun of me now. I thought at first he wanted it, but I think now he's making fun of all the wind and sweep footage.
Well, I think if we need to get more video I'm amazed at how many people send us footage the week after you showed all that sweep footage. It was amazing. I got before I even got off the show, I had all these emails in my inbox of hey, here's a video, here's a video, here's a video. It's oh, thank God. Thank you so much. Oh man, that was appreciated. But yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, and of course, turn on those notifications. So ring that bell. So anytime Zach puts anything online, you'll be the first to know about it. That's it for today.
One more question, Aaron.
Oh, my Mizuno hat. I know. Yeah. Doug inspired me just to go for it. to show off the receding hairline here. So maybe, yeah, probably.
Brody and I are talking about getting a sweep boat for the wind. So
sweep footage on the wind.
We're thinking about making a private sweep boater for the wind. So that's something out being thought of.
Thanks, Zach.
All right, let's close this one down.
All right.